Hey YouTube, welcome to the channel. For those of you that have been here before, welcome back. For those that haven't, just like to give you a little brief history on me. I'm a retired NYPD Highway Patrol Motorcycle Lieutenant. I did a wonderful 22-year career. 15 of those years were spent in the motorcycle unit. The purpose of this channel is twofold. First, I want to share with you my experience and my knowledge in motorcycle operation, specifically slow speed motorcycle operation, because that's the most important motorcycle operation there is, believe it or not. The reason for that is when you're riding this motorcycle 15 miles per hour or less, 100% of your skill is necessary to keep this motorcycle upright. When you're going faster than that, the motorcycle can stay up by itself, all right? So that's why we want to definitely pay attention to that. You know, you look at a lot of riders out there, and riders that have been riding for decades, right? They look real cool on their motorcycles. And then when they come up to a 15 mile per hour less and you see the feet come out, all right? You see them duck walking their motorcycle. That's letting you know that their confidence in that area is low, all right? So that's what this is about. This is about getting your confidence up. A confident rider is a safe rider, all right? And we want as many safe riders out there as possible. So yes, being able to make tight turns and navigate your motorcycle the way you would like to navigate the motorcycle, guess what? That looks cool too. It looks cool, but it's also a necessary skill, all right? So I want to pass that on to you guys. And I want you to think about this. If you show up on your motorcycle and you're riding and your motorcycle looks good, and if you ride by fast, there's going to be some people out there that are impressed by that. But show up on your motorcycle going 6 miles per hour and make a tight U-turn. Watch how many more people are impressed by that. And that's because only 2% of the motorcycle population know how to ride like that proficiently, all right? And we want to make that 2% grow, all right? That's the first half. The second half is I want to make sure that you are the boss of your motorcycle. I want you to be the boss of your motorcycle. And by the boss, I mean you're in control, all right? And you're not really in control fully if you're still intimidated about doing something as simple as making a U-turn, all right? Or a tight right turn or a tight left turn. Let me come at you another way. And also always letting you know, I'm not that guy that's putting you down or pointing fingers or looking down on you or criticizing you or making fun of you. Not my style. But I am right down the middle, all right? We're all adults. So I'm going to talk to you like an adult. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I want you to think about it this way. What we're doing out here today is we're practicing, all right? This is practice session number 3. That's what we're doing, we're practicing. What are we practicing out here? We're not popping wheelies. We're not doing stunts. We're not doing tricks. What are we doing? We're making right turns and left turns and going straight. Right turns, left turns, going straight. Now I want you to think about that. That's all we're doing. Yet 98% of the motorcycle population are not proficient in doing that. That should bother you. If you're in that 98 percentile, and I'm not, listen, I also want you to know that this is not about dragging the boards and making 18-foot U-turn. No, that is not what this is about, okay? This is about building your confidence so that when you're out there riding in the real world, not in the parking lot, and you get up to a situation where you have to make a U-turn, no part of your brain is going to be concerned about you not doing it because you already know you can do it because you've practiced it. And if you can make a U-turn in a parking lot within 3 parking spaces, because that's where we always start, that's usually the tightest you're going to be making out on the street anyway, all right? I want you to be a little bit less than 3, all right? Because when you're a little bit less than 3, it shows your confidence level is even higher. But we'll start at 3, okay? So, all right, enough about that. I just want to welcome you guys. If you haven't seen practice session number 2 or practice session number 1, go back and check those out. And as I always say, you guys could be doing anything with your time, and the fact that you choose to spend a little bit of it with me, I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to get started out here. We're going to talk to some of the riders out here, find out how long they've been riding, what they're riding, and what their skill level is, in their opinion, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best as it pertains to slow speed riding skills. All right, you're going to hear me say a lot also, preload, all right? And that's me talking about the throttle. You have to preload the throttle, keep power to that rear wheel, okay? All right, guys. Lastly, before we get started, I want to share with you guys that I'm going to ask you guys to send me pictures of you practicing. All right. And in those pictures, I don't want to see a picture of you driving on the street. That is practicing, but I want you to send me pictures of you practicing your low speed riding techniques. And that's what I want you to send me pictures of. And what I'm going to do, of course, if you send me the picture, you're giving me the permission. Anytime I put a video out, I'm going to put one of those pictures on and just introduce that person and show that he's practicing. All right. We're all in this together. All right. Practice, practice, practice. All right. Let's get to it. All right, this is Pete, and Pete is from North Carolina. He rides a 2020 Indian Challenger Limited, and he saw me riding this motorcycle in one of our training sessions, and he loved it. He went out, he got some cones, and he's been practicing ever since. Keep up the good work, Pete. Be careful out there. Okay, first I want to apologize to you guys because I was very excited that I finally have my wireless microphone, and it was working great. And it was still working great in this scene right here. However, the way I had my microphone positioned on my t-shirt, I had it inside my t-shirt. So it was actually against my chest, which was muffling the sound. And I absolutely refuse to make a video with sound that was that bad. So I'm just going to let you know what was going on. Right here, this guy's name is Roy. And Roy came from South Carolina. He originally started in Oklahoma. And I told him, you're a real rider. He went from Oklahoma to Alabama to South Carolina to Georgia to take this training practice course. And he's riding an ultra limited. And he told me, I apologize that my bike is dirty. And my response to him was, when you're putting those kind of miles on the motorcycle, by the way, his wife was on the back of the motorcycle as well. Nobody's expecting you to come with a clean motorcycle. All right. But Roy's been riding a motorcycle for years. He's been riding a motorcycle for years. He has a 2018 Ultra, by the way. And when he was asked where would he rate his slow speed motorcycle operating skills on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, his answer was a 2. Okay. This is Mario. Mario rode for 2.5 hours to get to this course. Just like Roy did. I forgot to say that Roy also had a 2.5 hour ride from where he came from in South Carolina. Okay. Mario was riding a 2019 Street Glide. Right? His motorcycle looked good too. And when I asked Mario on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, where would he rate his slow speed motorcycle operation? And his answer was a 1. Right. Very, very, very nice guy, an honest guy, willing to learn. And actually, that's how Roy and Mario were. They were the first two to arrive at the class. As a matter of fact, when Mario got to the class, he said, I'm sorry I'm late. It was 11:48. And I said I was starting at 12. That's the kind of guy I'm dealing with here. All right. Very good guy. Let's take a quick look at Mario's motorcycle. And just like Roy's motorcycle, that backrest, I have the backrest already. I just got it in the box. I haven't even taken it out yet, but that thing is so important as far as comfort is concerned. And again, if you can't be comfortable riding the motorcycle, it kind of takes the fun out of it. So I think it's definitely a good addition to have. But it's a very nice looking motorcycle. I think you guys would agree to that. Okay, this is me demonstrating the first exercise. The purpose of this first exercise is, of course, to get you accustomed to using the 3 techniques: throttle, clutch, and rear brake. Staying in the friction zone. I wanted everyone to go as slow as possible to the point where they would feel like they have to put their foot down. And then as soon as they thought they had to put their foot down, let the clutch out. All right. You're already preloaded. So that's all you have to do is let the clutch out. It'll pick you right up. So every time you see my motorcycle jerk forward, that's when I was at the point where I need to put my foot down. Let me let the clutch out. Let the motorcycle move forward. The point of this exercise is to get you to trust. I say it all the time. Trust and be sure that as long as you have power going to the rear wheel, you're not going to fall. The motorcycle is not going to drop. And in this case, You don't need to put your foot down. You just need to get power to that rear wheel. And how do you do that? Let the clutch out, because you're already preloaded. That's why I'm not saying give it throttle and let the clutch out. You're already giving it throttle because you're preloaded. Just let the clutch out. And you don't have to pop it out unless you want some really quick power. You should always be, when I say you're in the friction zone, some people's friction zone is you have to actually pull your hand in further than other people. Everybody's clutch is a little different. All right. You know what your clutch is. So wherever that sweet spot is, don't deviate too far from it. You want to get that power immediately as soon as you open your hand. Okay, so now we have Roy and Mario. They're going to go through this course. Roy's going first. And again, the instructions are go as slow as possible. Of course, don't touch that front brake. And I want you to go slower than I would normally make someone go, because I want you to purposely get the motorcycle to the point where you feel like you're going to have to put your foot down. And then as soon as you feel that, let the clutch out and pick the motorcycle up. And they actually did a very good job on this. Roy had a little bit more experience in this than Mario, but Mario did an excellent job on this as well. So I definitely want to commend both of them. And this is something I want you guys to definitely try. All right. Because this is going to give you, now you're not leaning or anything like that, but that's fine. But the point is, it's getting you accustomed to whenever you feel like, when you feel that, and the first thing you think to do is to put your foot down. I want you to just know all you have to do is let the clutch out, because you're already preloaded, right? I say it all the time. Preload. I'm not just saying that because I like the way it sounds. I'm saying it because it's effective. Keep power going to that rear wheel. And then all you have to do is let the clutch out, and you won't have to put your foot down, okay? You have to trust and believe that. But the only way you're really going to trust and believe it is to get out there and do it and feel it. And that's how you gain confidence in it, all right? I want you to gain confidence. Confidence is key here. Now, this happens very slight, but I don't know if you saw it, but Roy grabbed his front brake. And let me tell you something about grabbing the front brake on a cone course. It's very hard for people not to notice because a couple of things happen. The front of the bike dips down. Front of the bike dips down as well when you're touching the rear brake, but it dips down in a different way when you grab that front brake. And I heard his front wheel lock. So I asked him, I said, hey, Roy, did you grab that front brake? And he was honest. He was like, yeah, I grabbed it. It's something that guys have been doing for years. And because a lot of people don't do slow riding, the rear brake is never touched. It's rarely used. And here I am asking him, did you touch that front brake? And he said, yeah, I touched the front brake. And I said, all right, brother, that's a 10-minute, that's a 10 push-up penalty. I lowered it from 25. I'm not trying to kill people out there. That's not to say that Roy can't do 25 push-ups, but that's my new threshold, 10 push-ups. And listen, this is all done out of fun. It's done out of fun, but it also addresses something. Usually if you're trying to break a habit, you have to incorporate something to actually stay in your mind so that you can remember not to do it. If somebody is just telling you, don't do this anymore, it's a lot easier to just forget it. It doesn't stick in there. But it's something as simple as doing 10 push-ups. And because you touched the front brake on the cone course, no problem at all. So good job, Roy. He was a good sport. He could have told me I'm not doing any push-ups, but listen, we're out there to have fun. And if that's the small price you have to pay to break a bad habit, it's not a big deal at all. Okay, this is exercise number 2. This is called the left turn. The purpose of this exercise is to incorporate parts of exercise 1, which was just driving in a straight line, staying in the friction zone. That's what the first leg of that is. Once you get to the left turn, you stop and you put down your left foot. Remember, you never put down your right foot in slow motorcycle operation because your right foot is covering the rear brake. So that's the first thing. That's the second thing that this exercise is taking care of. It's addressing the slow riding and coming to a stop. All right. Let me say that again. It's addressing riding slowly, keeping the motorcycle upright while you're riding slowly. And again, if you feel like you want to put your foot down, just giving the rear wheel some power. Secondly, it's addressing breaking the habit of people coming to a complete stop and putting their feet, both of their feet out and stopping the motorcycle with the front brake. Okay? Again, it's making them stop, rear brake, left foot on the ground. After they put their left foot on the ground, it's a stop sign. They're going to look both ways. Well, some of them did. And then they're going to make a left turn. All right? This is not involving any leaning. This is incorporating exactly what they just did, going straight. The only thing being added to it is they're making a left turn. And it's not an extreme left turn, but it's a left turn. Okay? It's exactly the same as what you would do when you were going straight, just like I was saying. Okay? So the way it was being done is I told them to start from the left side of that lane. All right? It's a little bit easier if you start from the left side. Actually, no. What I had them do first is go through it at speed. Don't stop. Just go through it. Because I want them to see how easy everything is when you add speed to it. Because remember, as you go faster, the amount of skill that's required from you goes down. Now the motorcycle doesn't need as much from you to stay upright. But the slower you go, that's when your skill is absolutely needed to keep this motorcycle up. So again, they start from the left side. Secondly, first time you run straight through. Second time you come through, you go all the way to the right side of the lane. All the way to the right side of the lane. Make that turn. Okay, now what I also told them is when you get to that stop sign, any move that you make while you're slow riding, you preload before you make the move. Okay? Before that motorcycle moves, you should hear your revs come up. Because this is one of those situations where you need the power right away. You don't have time to be trying to get to it if you're already in the middle of a turn. Because a turn is where you will drop the motorcycle. So then once they come through the third time, then they'll come to the middle of the lane. And everything else is the same once they come to the middle of the lane. And lastly, they will come to the left side of the lane. Okay? Now you saw I just kicked that cone over. And what I was telling them is, if you're going to make this turn and you feel like, uh-oh, I'm not going to make it, don't put your foot down. The same rules apply. Let the clutch out. And even if you have to drive through the cones, it's not a wall there, it's just cones. Drive through the cones. I just don't want you to put your foot down. I also told them these are not the real big cones that if you hit them with your motorcycle, they could actually throw your motorcycle or throw the front wheel. These cones are lightweight. All you have to, I said, don't worry about it. Just hit them. Your motorcycle is almost 900 pounds. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now, lastly, what I told them is if you ride the motorcycle past the stop sign and now you're almost right at those cones right in front of you. How are you going to get out of that? Now, you could back the motorcycle up. But what I told them is what you really have to do is you have to turn the handlebars all the way to the left. You cover the rear brake, you preload, and then you literally, all right, listen to this, guys. You literally have to let the motorcycle fall to the left, and then you catch it with the throttle and the clutch and the rear brake. That's literally what you have to do. And, you know, it feels scary. It sounds scary. But once again, once you really trust that as long as you have power going to that rear wheel, you won't fall, then it's not that scary. But you have to trust that. And that trust has to be earned. And the only way you're going to earn it is to get your confidence up. And the only way you're going to get your confidence up is to practice. All right, so let's see me running through all four of them, demonstrating for the guys. Okay, this time is the first time through, and this is just going to be a straight run right through. Nice and easy. Nobody had a problem with this one. I think one person may have taken out a cone. Next time, we're going to go to the extreme right of the lane, and we're going to come to a stop. When you come to a stop, you put your left foot down. Okay? Now see, sometimes you make a mistake. Oh, I see what I was telling them. As soon as you go to move, your foot comes up. That's what I was showing them. As soon as the motorcycle moves, your foot comes up. Nice, easy left turn. Okay, and all you're doing there is the same thing you were doing over there, but you're turning. That's the only difference. You saw how slow everybody was going when they did that? Nice and easy. Now we're in the center of the lane. Seems a little bit harder, right? No, same thing. Don't put in your mind, oh, this is more difficult. As slow as I'm going, that's how slow I saw them going over there when we were just going straight. The only thing different is a turn. Okay, now we're on the inside of this lane. We're on the left side. So this is going to require a little bit more of you practicing what you learned in exercise 1, but it's still the same thing. And that's what I want to get through to you guys, that it's the same thing. It's a left turn, and that's it. Nice and easy. So now, this time coming through, I'm going to explain to them that now the motorcycle is past the stop sign. So now I have to drop the motorcycle a little bit to the left, like I said, and then you have to catch it. Okay, so the motorcycle handlebars are turned all the way to the left, covering the rear brake, preload. As soon as the foot comes up, let the motorcycle fall to the left and turn out. And it's that, I hate to say it's that easy, but anything's easy once you learn how to do it. Straight through. Okay, so in this exercise, it's the same thing that we did before. You're going slow, but the only thing now is we're incorporating a turn. Go ahead, go ahead. Okay, so now we have Roy coming up, and he's already run through it without stopping, nice and easy. Now he's on the extreme right of the lane, and he did that very easily. But again, what he's practicing is initially the small things that we do all the time, which is bringing the motorcycle to a stop. All right, stop, left foot goes on the ground, right foot continues to cover the rear brake. All right. Now this is Marshall, and she said to me, the issue I have is Marshall is vertically challenged. So she said, this is why I have to put 2 feet out when I'm stopping. And my answer to her was, I allowed her to give me that excuse on day 1, the first practice session that we had. But I did tell her, all she has to do with practice is whenever she's coming to a stop, and there's going to be times when it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes the ground's not even. But I told her, as she's coming to a stop, she should already have her weight shifted so that she can put down her left foot and the motorcycle will just be at a slight lean. That I've watched motorcycle riders do that for years in the highway patrol. Some of the shorter guys, that's what they had to do. And I told her, and when it's time to move, when you're taking off from a stop, you don't have to like kick your motorcycle up to be upright to start moving. All you have to do is give power to the rear wheel and it will stand up by itself. So for all you vertically challenged people out there, the same rules apply. Okay, so right here, like I told you guys, you don't have to do a lot to drop the motorcycle. And in this case, the only way you're ever going to drop a motorcycle on a slow cone course or any type of slow riding is that you don't have enough power going to the rear wheel. That's it. That's the only way a motorcycle is going to go down. All right. I'm not talking about mechanical failure or stuff like that. I'm talking about if everything is working the way it's supposed to be working, if the motorcycle falls, it's because no power is going to the rear wheel. And in this case, he had his motorcycle preloaded. The motorcycle was preloaded. But a lot of the times when people get into the turn, they're concentrating so much on the turn that they forget about the throttle. And that's what happened here. And again, Eric is working without a clutch. He's got an automatic transmission. So all he's dealing with is throttle and rear brake. Okay? But guess what still happens if you don't give enough throttle to the rear wheel? Automatic transmission or not, the motorcycle's going to fall. Okay, this rider, Same situation. He's coming down the middle of the lane this time. Comes to a stop. Left foot goes down. All right. That's okay right there. Sometimes that happens. No problem at all. And I told him that. But look what happens right here. It's the exact same thing. He's concentrating so much on the turn and most likely looking at the cones that he forgets about the fact that he needs to keep the throttle going. Preload, 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 throttle, throttle. If you don't keep power to that rear wheel, especially in a turn, the motorcycle is going to drop. What I also want you to realize is this is not one of those turns where you're leaning the motorcycle. We're making this left turn with the motorcycle straight up, just like in exercise number 1. That's why we go from exercise number 1 to exercise number 2. I want to show people that once you get the confidence to know what you're being asked to do here, you've already done. All you're doing now is turning the handlebars while you're doing it. But you have to get into the habit of keeping power to the rear wheel. Okay? So I just finished giving Mario some instruction on keeping his throttle up. Keeping the throttle up. That was the most important thing. And he made a very good turn there. Because the main thing he was worried about is just by turning the handlebars, people get nervous. When really, if you think about it, with the handlebars turned, at least to me, I can balance the motorcycle a lot better with my handlebars turned all the way to the left, or all the way to the right, rather than the wheels being straight. And again, that's just, I'm sure that's not just me. I used to be able to do the same thing with a bicycle. You hold the brakes, turn the handlebars. So obviously it's almost like having a tripod. It's going to be easier to balance when the wheel is turned. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Okay, so now this rider's in the extreme left lane. All right, it takes a little bit more skill, but see how easy he made that look? As long as there's power going to the rear wheel. Now, listen, I know you're gonna get sick of hearing the same things over and over and over. However, you're going to hear the same things over and over and over because this is not a complicated thing. There's only 3 things you have to really think about: throttle, clutch, rear brake. Eric here only has to think of 2 of them, but he's got a higher learning curve because this is the first motorcycle he's owned with an automatic transmission. So he's transitioning from throttle, clutch, rear brake to throttle, rear brake, and that's it. So we're all dealing with something out there. Okay, so now this is Willie. Let's see if he does a better job. Now, here's what I am going to say about Willie too. I like people to challenge themselves. That's how you get better quicker if you're trying to fast track this. You challenge yourself. Willie, he could have said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to the center of the lane, or I'm going to the immediate right. But what did Willie do? When he dropped the motorcycle last time trying to make that left turn, he came back and came right back to the left side of that lane. And I admire that. So big ups to Willie for, challenging himself. And again, I want you guys to remember, this is where you want to challenge yourself. If you're going to drop your motorcycle, this is where you want to drop your motorcycle because nothing's really going to happen to it, especially on this turn. I know I tell you guys when you're making a U-turn or whatever, you're going about 8 to 10 miles per hour. In this exercise, 2 to 3 miles per hour, maybe. All right. So good. Perfect. Good. All right, Mario. That last one you did was perfect. Do it just like that. Get that throttle up, turn. You're fine. Rear brake, you're good. That's perfect. Good. That's right. Preload. See how high his revs were? Doesn't matter. See how slow he was riding? Because he controls the speed. All right, that's enough. I'm not going to torture you guys with too much bad audio. I felt like that was at least a little bit. You were at least a little bit able to understand what was being said. But once it started getting out of control, I said I would just cut that. But anyway, the guys are doing pretty good in this exercise. And I do want you guys to pay attention to what they're doing. I want you to see if you can point out mistakes that they're making. And when you come to this stop, you could turn the handlebars before you start moving, or you can keep the handlebars straight and then make the turn. All right. Now you'll also notice that a lot of these guys, when they make the turn, that all of a sudden you see this burst of speed. Now, initially, I would say you're always going to see people try to go a little bit faster because, again, once the motorcycle's going faster, less of your skill is needed. It makes them feel safer because they're letting the motorcycle take over, right? But if you're going to be the boss, you stay slow riding and you just control it. You contribute all of your skill. However, in this exercise, I did tell them, if you feel like you're going to need to put your foot down, let the clutch out and open up. The throttle's already open because we're preloaded. So if you feel like you're going to have to put your foot down, open up the clutch. So if they bursted into speed while making this left turn, that was okay. All right. Because I didn't care if they hit cones. I didn't care about any of that. The only thing I want them to do is get out of the habit of putting their foot down. And again, that's an instinct. It's hard to break that. But if you keep doing it, repetition equals retention. And it's going to become automatic that they'll know, if I feel like I'm going to fall, don't put your foot down. Just open up the clutch hand and you'll be fine. Of course, this doesn't apply to Eric. Eric is a whole nother animal. All he's got to do is worry about that rear brake. Very good. Now, if you look at this left turn with Mario, we've got the throttle thing all down packed. Now we just have to get him to turn the handlebars all the way. And you can see right here, he actually got out of the turn early. He didn't clip the cone to his left on that corner, so he made that turn, but he didn't keep the handlebars turned. And that's what caused him to take out those last 3 cones. So again, this is a work in progress. That's why you just keep practicing. And once you master one part, and maybe you have to master another part, the next time you come around, now you master that part. Now, if you look over in the left, you see a motorcycle over there riding around. And you also saw Mario go over there on the right. They're going back to the first exercise to practice that. And I told them, what we do when we go out here is we run through each exercise. And then once we go through all of them, you guys do whatever you want. Wherever you feel like you need work, you go back and do that. And if that's exercise 1, go back to exercise 1. If you want to come back to exercise 2 and try it after you've warmed up a little more, that's fine too. All right. But it's all about practice, 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 practice. Okay, exercise number 3 is very important. It's a very important exercise. This is the single serpentine. And the reason this exercise is so important is because now you're incorporating a few things. You're working on the friction zone. You're always working on the friction zone on every exercise. But in this exercise, now you're turning the handlebars. Not like you were in exercise 2 where you just turn to the left. But now you're swinging and swaying the motorcycle right to left, to right, to left. At the same time, you're leaning the motorcycle now. You're not just making an upright turn. Now, usually when people go through this course for the first time, they want to keep the motorcycle straight up. Now, I have these cones set at 20 feet apart, right? It's a lot of space. 20 feet is a lot of space to do this. What I'm explaining to them now is that you need to come out wide when you're doing the serpentine as well. Don't hug the cones because now you're making it more difficult to make these turns without hitting the cones. But what I want them to do is I want them to come in at an angle where they have to almost lean the motorcycle to make these turns. I want them to get comfortable with feeling the motorcycle lean, dipping and diving. Because remember, all of these things tie in together. Once you do the serpentine and you're dipping and diving, then when you get to the U-turn, which is exercise number 4, that U-turn is going to feel a little bit easier because you've already felt the motorcycle leaning and dipping and diving. And all that U-turn is a big lean and a big dip and dive. That's it. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate the single serp to them. And like I tell them, dipping and diving. What I also tell them is straight ahead, straight in front of me is a green cone. That's the cone all the way at the end. That's what you're focusing on. And now that you see me coming back in this direction, the last cone I'm going to go around, that's the cone I'm looking at from all the way down there. Your head should be straight ahead as you're going down the single serp because you're looking at the cone furthest away. Your peripheral vision will pick up the other cones. You don't have to look at them. Just like you don't have to stare at the lanes when you're driving a car. So right here, I told them, look at my head. Look at where I'm looking. I'm looking straight ahead as I'm doing this. I don't have to look at each cone. And that's what you have to do to be successful. One of the things, at least, with the single serpentine. Okay, right here, Mario asked me to do the single serp on his motorcycle, just to make sure nothing's wrong with the motorcycle. And, you know, after this was over, he said, okay, user error. And he said it with the upward inflection as a question. And then the answer was, yes, Mario, user error. But we're going to work on those errors. And at least they're slight because he got a lot better. And his motorcycle felt good, too. He's got the 12-inch raised bars. And he's making me think a lot about getting those on my motorcycle because, again, I have to spread my legs open when I make tight turns because those stock handlebars hit me right on my inner knee. And but these 12-inch ones and wood 16-inch ones, I wouldn't go as high as 16, maybe even 10. But I'm definitely thinking about it. We got Roy here now doing the single serps. And then he went into the U-turn. And pretty good. Look at this U-turn. That's an 18-foot U-turn. That is not bad at all. And you can tell even in the single serps, he's loose. He's dipping the motorcycle. He's in the friction zone. Very nice. Very nice. See how when you do it correctly, it looks very fluid. And that's how you want it to look. That's how it looks. And when you're doing it, that's also how it feels. Okay, now we're going to watch Eric go through on the Goldwing. And anything that we're doing for the first time out here, you always need to warm up. But he was already accustomed to putting his left foot down because when we first started exercise number 1, he was one of the guys that had both his feet out. All right, but this definitely takes some getting used to. Not bad. And he's now going into the U-turn. Now, funny story for you guys. I only wanted these guys to do the single serp. But when I rode Mario's motorcycle, I went through the single serp and then made a U-turn. And then everybody just, you know, I guess they said, hey, I guess that's what we need to do. So they did it. And I don't have a problem with that at all. Like if you can do the single serp and you see that U-turn right in front of you and you want to do it, knock it out. Now, then Eric decided to ask me to do the single serp on that Goldwing. And I'm not going to say no. I'll give it a try. It's the first time. And I gave it a try. You guys will see that later. Okay, now it's Mario's time to go through the single serp. All right, now you see he's hugging those cones. But again, this is the first time through. But ideally, I want them coming from the extreme right or the extreme left, whatever side they start on first. And that's going to force them to dip the motorcycle to make these turns. And again, that first cone, I want them to get close to that first cone. Because the closer they are to that first cone, the easier it's going to be for the next turn, and so on and so forth. If you start in the middle or if you start closer to the cone in front of you, as you go on, unless you start leaning the motorcycle more and more, see how close he is to that first cone? See how and now he hit that one because he's turning too late. So you have to make sure you turn early as well, even at 20 feet. So imagine if I had these cones at 15 feet. All right, so once you get these basic fundamentals down, it all comes together when you make the cones closer. So that's why we start at 20 feet and then you move it in. If you follow the same instructions that were given to you at 20 feet, you'll be fine. All right, now we got Willie going through the single serps. And if there's anything that Willie does very well, it's these single serps. See how wide he goes out? Dipping and diving, swinging and swaying. It looks very fluid. He does that very well. In the U-turn, he does U-turns well too. And then here he comes back again. Dipping and diving, swinging and swaying. See the front fork compressing? Beautiful. That's what I like to see. That's when you know somebody's really getting into it. Really getting into it. Okay, now this is Sam. Sam was a little timid on the course. All right, but he's out there. He's working. And he's one of the guys where once it's the first time to go through here, kind of straight up and down. But I want him to lean that motorcycle. Okay, see how straight he is? And that's what people want to do. But see, he's got a little sway there. And that's all I want to see, a little sway. And you can work on that. But he's already starting out well. He is kind of straight up, but at least he's swinging and swinging the motorcycle a little bit. And that's important. Okay, this is Roy's second run through. And like I said, Roy was very good at the single serve. See how wide he's going? That's what I want you to do. Line to line. Beautiful. He's not relying on speed to keep his motorcycle up. That's pure friction zone. That's what he's doing. So he made that look very easy. And again, an 18-foot U-turn. So very good. And I think if you guys remember at the beginning of this, Roy said that he would rate his slow speed motorcycle operation on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. He gave himself a 2. So I would like to let Roy know you are not a 2, brother. Okay, now we have Eric going through again. Second run on the Goldwing. Now, he's not doing a lot of dipping and diving. He's not doing a lot of leaning. But he definitely gets a pass with the learning curve. All right, it's definitely a different feel. But in spite of all of that, he made the U-turn, and he didn't hit any cones in the single serve. Now, of course, the goal is always not to hit a cone. But if you hit a cone, it's not a big deal. This is practice. All right, this is practice. There we go. Looking good, Eric. Looking good. Nice and easy. All right, now we got Wood Jr. here. And Wood Jr., we need to get Wood to lean the motorcycle a little more too. But he's definitely getting there. Now, you see right there, he's going around the cones. He's kind of straight up. He's turning a little bit late too. So it forces him to have to turn the motorcycle a little more aggressively the more he progresses along the single serpentine. But the fact that he's able to make that correction and make it through without hitting the cones, that's great. And here he is in the U-turn. And he didn't quite make it through that one yet. But you see, he cheated himself by a lot too. So that didn't help him out. But again, this is the first time through. We're still warming up. Because remember, the first things that we did on this cone course, we did exercise number 1 where you were straight up. Exercise number 2 where you were straight up. This is the first exercise where you're doing a little bit of dipping and diving. And then that U-turn, that's when I really want you to lean that motorcycle to make that U-turn. Now, can you use the whole 27 feet? Absolutely. And that's no problem with that. But your goal should be to get that number down. You don't have to get it down to 18 feet because like I said, that's not the goal here. But the goal is to get your confidence level high enough so that you will at least try to get it less than 27 feet. Okay, let's see if Mario here is doing a little bit better. And see, he's got some fluidity. See the sway? The swing? Oh, it looks very fluid. And that's what we want. That's when you can tell that people are loosening up and they're starting to feel it. And I also want to point out, now he didn't quite make that U-turn, but I also want to point out that he's attempting the right U-turn. And like I always say to you guys, it's harder to make right turns than it is to make left turns. For whatever reason, I'm still not sure. But like I said, the serpentine is one of the bread and butter exercises to get through this cone course. All right, here we have Sam again. And like I said, I think when Sam first got to the course, he said, you know, I'm gonna be a lot of work. But he's doing okay. He's doing okay. And most people will say, well, hey, I got through. I didn't hit any cones. That's always good. But once you warm up more and more, you want to start swinging and swaying that motorcycle. And that way it's showing that you're loosening up. You're getting comfortable. You know, the motorcycle is starting to feel that at any point now you're going to get promoted. You're going to be the boss. Right now, Sam he's a little bit of a subordinate right now, but we're gonna make him a boss. Okay, now again, remember Roy, see that first turn? See how wide it is? It forces him to lean the motorcycle and make fluid movements. And again, in order to do this smooth, you have to be perfectly in the friction zone. And he does that very well. But you see what happened right here? Now, again, I don't have to tell you, What's the problem? I'll ask you guys, what happened? Why did that motorcycle go down? He looked so good the last time. He made an 18-foot U-turn. He looks perfect in the serpentine. Why did that motorcycle fall on that U-turn? Because he didn't have enough power to the rear wheel. That's all that is, all right? But no harm, no foul. He picked the motorcycle up, dust himself off. Well, he don't have to dust himself off. Pick the motorcycle up and get back out there and do it again, because it's going to happen from time to time. And I've noticed that on the cone course, the biggest problem that everybody has is keeping power to the rear wheel. It's like at some point they just forget about it and think that idle is going to work. Idle is too low, all right? So keep power going to that rear wheel. Preload. I feel like I can't say it enough. Preload. But don't preload and then get into a turn and then get out of it. You have to keep that power steady. As soon as you get out of the turn, then you can let it out, all right? But as long as you're in a turn, I want to hear your engine. So the guys on the course that have the loud mufflers, that always helps. I can always hear if they're too low, and wood is one of them. I can hear if wood is too low. But you see, he's warming up. He's getting better. Starting on that U-turn. You know. But I found out later on that wood wasn't turning his head. But we'll get to that. Got to turn your head. Okay, so we're going to go to the U-turn now. We're going to go over what we need to go over with that. Roy is all packed up down there. No, right here. He attached his trailer and he is out. He's the real deal, man. Oh yeah, good job, man. With the trailer. It says a lot about the dedication of somebody as far as learning this craft, if they will travel to get to it. All right, and that's what this is all about. A confident rider is a safer rider. All right, so funny story. When I was riding Mario's motorcycle, I loved the way it felt. I loved it so much, instead of just doing the single, I went through the U-turn. And then you guys just followed suit. That's not what I wanted you to do, but whatever. Okay, so, but now we're here, we're going to talk about it. Now, I know you guys probably heard me say that when you make this U-turn, if you're going to make a left turn, I want you to swing left, swing right, and that gives you momentum, and then make the turn. But what I will say to you is, it's not necessary. You don't have to do that. You could just hug the line and make the turn. Now, you also have 27 feet here. It's a lot of room. So you don't have to be too perfect in anything you do. You should make that turn. Here are the keys to making that turn. It's the same keys as every place else on this course. Throttle, clutch, rear brake. But you have to stay preloaded. And I could see that the difference is the concentration is lost once you get to the turn. Because now you're concentrating so much on the turn, you forget about the throttle. And that's why Roy dropped his motorcycle. You see Roy made a U-turn within 2 parking spaces, 18 feet. He went a little bit over. He was about right here. Beautiful. Second time he came through, dropped the motorcycle. Why? Because his throttle was down. Now Mario's motorcycle, just like Wood's, your pipes are loud enough where I can hear whether you have enough power or not. If I don't hear it, it's not enough power. If you still make it through the turn, it doesn't mean you had the good amount of power. It means sometimes you're going too fast. I don't want you going too fast. I don't want you going too slow. Split the difference, okay? Now, you see these cones at the end? So if you're making a left turn, see this cone right here? That's the cone I want you looking at. Again, don't stare at it. My cones don't like it. It's inappropriate, okay? That's what you're aiming for. Once you get here, I don't want you to cheat yourself either. So I want you to act like you're trying to make this turn in 18 feet. So put your wheel as close as you can to over here, all right? As soon as you go to make this turn, you should be looking at that green cone right there. And keep looking at it. I almost want to put it further out to make sure you look even further over your shoulder. You know what, that's what I'm going to do. Because that's the goal. The goal is to get you to look as far as you can over your shoulder. The farther you look over your shoulder, the wider you're going to turn, because wherever your eyes go, that's where the motorcycle is going to go. The wider you're going to turn? Yeah. If you look over your head like this, then you're only going to turn like this. If you look over your head like this, you're going to turn like that. Why that is, I have no clue, but it works, you know. And I also noticed that Mario, and I think Wood too, when you guys came in here, you made a right turn. The right turn is always more difficult than the left, and I still don't know why. I think it's because now your clutch hand is up here, I think. I don't know. But the rules don't change. They're always the same. So when you come over here, you're looking at that green cone, and when you go to make the right turn, look at this cone, all right? I'm going to demonstrate it. Right turn, same thing. If I'm turning right, I swing right. Let me do that a little better. Going too slow. And it's a slight swing. You don't have to do a big swing. It's very slight. Because I don't know if you notice, when I dip, the motorcycle goes like this. It puts it in position to make the turn. And now here it is without the dip. So of course, you don't need to dip if you're doing stuff like I did over there where the motorcycle's standing up and you just let it drop. It's the same concept. You're really doing that same thing. And again, I want you guys to please remember, throttle, throttle, throttle. All right? If you don't do anything else, throttle, 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 because all you're concerned about is dropping your motorcycle. And that's not going to happen as long as you got power to the rear wheel. All right? I don't care where you start from because you can go on either side. I'm going to say start the left turns first. Let's do the left turns first. And then we're going to do these double surfs. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yo, already doing it, yeah.
Oh, man, I ain't ready. I ain't that good.
No, you'll see. What happened, man? You got your hazard lights on? You broke down?
No.
Good. Throttle, 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 throttle. Wood, I want you to relax.
Okay.
Just relax, man. I'll try to relax. Just keep that throttle up. As long as the clutch is controlling the speed, you'll be fine. Okay. That's good for our first run.
You said throttle, and what do I need to do?
Keep your throttle up.
Okay.
Lean that motorcycle. Make sure you keep that clutch in the friction zone. All right. As long as there's power to the rear wheel, you don't have to worry. Make sure you look over your shoulder and just let the motorcycle lean. Don't worry about it. And if you can't make the turn, just go straight out and try it again. Yep. Yep. Let's see if he turns his head. He's not turning his head. I already see the problem. Not turning your head. You got to turn your head all the way.
All the way, okay.
Look at that cone.
Okay.
Watch the difference. Let's see if he turns his head. Keep that throttle up. His problem is the throttle. See? I don't even hear it. All right, let's tighten that up. That's good. Keep that throttle up. That's good.
It's like the left turn is the hardest to read.
All right, Willie, what I want you to do, I want you to slow down. Your throttle is still too low. The only thing that's getting you through that turn is that you're going fast, all right? Because you use all three lanes, and the way you dipping, You don't need to use all 3 lanes to make that U-turn. I know that for a fact. Hey, Mario, forget about the dip. Just turn, all right? I don't want to add extra stuff. Okay. Let's see if he turns his head. He turns his head. Throttle, throttle, throttle. Okay, it's already tighter. I told him to slow down, but give me more throttle. Throttle, 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 throttle. I don't hear that throttle. Good, he got the little dip. Okay. Okay, no problem, no problem. Just keep going. Don't worry about it. You're good. You didn't hit nothing. Nope. You're good. Just keep running it. Just keep running it. Hey, Wood. So when you're doing this, you're like very tense. When you're making a turn, you're like, dude, just turn your head, all right? All you have to worry about is making sure that you have throttle and that this clutch is giving the rear wheel power and that you're covering that rear brake. Let it lean. Don't worry about it because like we did over there, if it feels like, uh-oh, just let the clutch out and go out. All right? Don't worry about it. Just let it lean. Challenge yourself, man. You have to believe. There we go. Come on, come on. There we go. There we go. That's what I want to hear. Oh, we got the Goldwing. Are you ready?
I'm ready. What am I doing first? Like swinging or just straight?
No. That's what I told him to do. That's what I told Mario to do, but it's too involved. So it was too much for him to actually try to, I don't want to add stuff to it. So if you want to do it, I don't think you need to add momentum to this motorcycle. Actually, I know you don't. So if you want, you could just go in and make the turn just like you were making over there. Just make the turn. Go in and just make the turn.
So the front wheel up to the green cone and
Yeah,
turn?
you're looking to that green turn. When you get to that green turn, that's where you're going to make the turn. As soon as you go to make the turn, turn your head, look at that green cone right there. All right? Turn your head all the way over your shoulder. Okay, so he turned his head late. Okay, that's not bad. Turn your head sooner. Okay. He's got his head turned, but he's not looking at that cone. All right, he's gonna have to get used to that.
You know what, though? It's like I feel better turning right versus left. I mean, I'm gonna get the left down.
So make a right turn.
No. I want to challenge myself, like you said.
Okay.
I want to challenge myself.
I want you to make a right turn. So if I want to see if it's any different.
That's good.
Let's go with what's comfortable first.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
All right. Okay, throttle, 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 throttle. Good. Okay.
Is that better?
That's better. Nice! Much better. That was much better. That's better. I don't know why, but for some reason, once you get into the turn, when you start getting near the end of the turn, you kind of let out. And that's why you're so close to these cones. When I know you can make that turn tighter. All right? That's nice. You see how he started to put his foot down, but he didn't? All he did was throttle that motorcycle, and that's all you need to do. The only difference with him is he doesn't have to worry about a clutch. All you have to do is get his foot off the rear brake, throttle, and he's good. All right, I'm gonna record one more thing, just so that you guys can see and hear. When I make this U-turn, you're gonna hit a throttle the whole time. The whole time. If I need the power, it's there. And when I get out, then you hear it go down. But as long as I'm turning, now it goes down. Remember, I told you to preload before every movement? Every movement means every turn. So your motorcycle could be quiet as soon as you get to a turn. Now I tell you to preload so that you don't have to think about it, or you could just go into the turn. But where it's most important is in the turn, because you're not going to drop the motorcycle going straight. And like you see over here, you don't have to be doing much either to drop it. All you got to do is have the handlebars turned and not have enough power. Boop, it's going to go down. If this was a dirt bike, like Jesse's bike when he came, he ain't got to worry. That bike's 150, 200 pounds. So he could, but this, keep it throttled. So even right before you're going to move, like when we're standing still, preload. So before I move, you always hear this. Then I do this. Always.
I don't know, I feel like I was doing the U-turns better earlier. Now I'm kind of like, because I'm more focused on the U-turn now, I'm kind of like not doing it as well.
And that's what happens, but repetition equals retention. We just got to practice. Okay, this is the double SERP. This is a gate here, and there's another gate down there. So we're doing a double SERP now. As I said before, 4 cones is a gate, that's an entrance. So remember, everything ties together, all right? The first thing we did was the slow ride, just to get you to start trusting the fact that if you feel like you need to put your foot down, all you have to do, in our cases as far as the Harleys, well, everything other than the Goldwing, is let the clutch out, give some power to the rear wheel, and you'll be fine. You don't have to put your foot down. It's going to pick you up. Remember, the motorcycle with power wants to stand up, so it's going to pick you up. In Eric's case with the Goldwing, he's only dealing with the rear brake and the throttle, right? He's still not dealing with the front brake. You never touch the front brake on a cone course, or any place for that matter, under 15 miles per hour. Okay, so when we come through this gate, now the way I like to always do this is do it with the camera. I'm not a believer in putting a camera on my helmet. It's not the same perspective. I can't stop. I can't talk to you the way I want to. So you see where my motorcycle is? See how close it is to the gate? That's where you should already be looking at that green cone right there. And every turn you make is going to be wide. That's why when we did the single SERP, I told them, make your turns wide. I want you to get accustomed to the bike leaning. Make your turns wide. See how the camera's moving? If you're getting vertigo, I apologize. But this is how it's supposed to be. Okay? So as soon as we come in here, all right? As soon as we come in here, as soon as your wheels get next to this, you're looking at that cone, lean, pull the clutch in, friction zone, friction zone, friction zone, and don't go towards that cone, go over here, all right? That's where you're going. Then you're gonna start leaning, you're looking at that cone, right? You're leaning. See that line over there? We're gonna use that as the line that we do not wanna cross. It's plenty of space. Same thing on the other side. When you pass the cone, that's 9 feet that you have to be able to make that turn. So as you start making this turn, guess what? Now you're looking at that cone. Now realistically, I want to tell you, you're not looking at that cone. You're looking at the gate where you just came from. So as soon as you get here, turn your head all the way and look at the gate. Now why should you look at the gate if you're going around that cone? Because like I said, I don't want you going straight towards that cone. Here's what's going to happen if you go straight towards that cone. Now, remember, you got 9 feet to make this turn. Can it be done? Absolutely. If you have the skill level to be able to lean this motorcycle enough, drag the boards, and get around here, no problem. But guess what? We're not doing that. I'm not even doing that because it doesn't make sense. Unless you're just trying to show off, that's not what this is about. So once you get around here, you're looking at the gate. And as soon as you get your motorcycle facing the gate, now look at this cone. Now look at this cone. And now you're going to go towards that cone. Again, you're taking this turn wide, 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 wide. As soon as your motorcycle gets to this cone, you're looking at the cone you just came from, the green cone. And now you're going to go back towards that one. All right? And as soon as you can see it, as soon as your motorcycle is straight, it's going in the direction that you want, now you look at that cone, and now you turn your handlebars, and now you're going towards here. So I want you leaning the motorcycle. You don't have to scrape the boards, and I have this wide enough so that it's not difficult. And then you're looking at that cone, and so on and so forth. Okay? You guys got that? And
All the way up to the gate. Can you demonstrate?
all the way up to the gate. Yes, and I'm gonna demonstrate now. Yeah, you're going all the way to the other gate, and then stay over there. And once we get through, we'll go back the other direction. Now, what are we doing in this double offset, double serp? We're making right turns and left turns.
Okay.
Right turns and left turns. That's all we're doing. All right? This ain't rocket science. But I will say, I've said this before, but let me say it again because it needs to be said. I do recognize that when I learned how to ride a motorcycle like this, I was on a police motorcycle. It wasn't my motorcycle. So that did not even cross my mind of I don't want to damage the bike. I still didn't want to drop the bike. All right? But it's for different reasons. So I do get that. Don't think I don't get that because I do. But that's why I just want to get through your head that if you have power going to your rear wheel, 15 miles per hour or less, you will never, ever drop your motorcycle. That's science. That's not like my opinion. As long as there's power to that rear wheel, you're not going to drop the motorcycle. All right? All right, let's do it. I'm looking at that cone. Now I'm looking here. Now I'm looking where I came from. Now I'm looking here. Now I'm looking where I came from. Now I'm looking here. Now I'm looking where I came from. Now I'm looking here. Now I'm looking where I came from. Preload! Reload! Listen, when you turn your head, yeah, Wood's going first. Wood's going first. When you turn your head, I want you to jerk your head. Jerk your head. Don't turn it slow because then you'll turn slow. Jerk your head. And you're going to see, if you go wide, plenty of room to make the turn.
So I'm just trying to understand the strategy of this. So you go through the double cone, and we're crossing this one first?
Yeah, you're going around that one first. So I didn't put a cone here because I don't want to confuse you.
Yeah,
But that's where you're looking. That's the direction you're looking first.
come in, okay. And then, okay. So we're going just like this.
That it's always best to walk the cone first. Yep. Well, you running it. That's even better. That's exactly what you're doing.
Okay.
Exactly what you're doing. What are you waiting for, man?
Oh, I was just...
You pray? You saying a prayer?
Wallace, man, you always be liking to go first. Can't let you do it. I gotta let you show me up.
Remember the rules. Listen, the rules don't change. Everything is the same. All right? The three techniques are the same.
Now, I will say, to be fair to everybody that's watching, this is my first time doing this particular exercise.
Exactly. Exactly. And once you finish this, What? No, ever.
No, ain't like ever.
Ever?
Yeah, I never did. Not this.
Once you finish this, then we can run through everything. You know, just practice everything. All right?
What time we leaving?
Listen, I'll leave when the sun goes down. You know that. I hear you, man. All right, stop. Start over. Start over.
Whoa!
Easy, easy, easy. You're starting that turn too late.
Oh, am I?
You went through the gate. Your whole the back of the motorcycle was past here before you even started turning.
So I gotta turn it while it's going in.
Yeah, start turning early.
Oh, really gotta about right here.
Yeah, as soon as your front wheels get there, start turning. So, yeah, favor that side of the gate. Favor the right side of the gate as you go in. Okay, good, good, good. Lean, lean. All right, come back here. Come back, come back. So his problem is he's not coming out far enough. That's his only problem. So he came through, he made this turn, and he went right here. So what I'm gonna do is stand where I want him to go, and I'm gonna tell him to look at me. Okay. This time when you make the turn, I want you to look at me and ride towards me after you make that turn. Stop. I don't know why that foot keeps coming down to like that. I want you to, no, nice and easy, we'll get to that. Now I want you to say, you know what? See where your motorcycle is? See where it's positioned? Look how hard that turn's gonna be now. You have to make that turn sooner. You're still making it too late, so try it again. And you gotta lean. You've got to lean it more because the bottom line is, oh yeah, okay. It's a little better, but see how he's going past this line? Because he's making the turns he's not making the turns wide enough. And that's the problem. You guys see what he's doing wrong? He's not going wide enough. And because he's not going wide enough, he's passing the line on both sides. At least the throttle's good. These two over here just gave up. This guy still got his hazard lights on. I don't know what's going on with that Road King with the hazard lights.
Am I turning this hard?
I mean, if you could turn like that, fine. You don't need to. But listen, the further you turn the handlebars, the better. It's one of two things, turning far or leaning far. So if you can split the difference, turn a little bit, lean a little bit, you're great, all right? But
So is my issue I'm not leaning?
your issue is you're not leaning, and you're also, and that's what I said. I said at least his RPMs are up. So that's what we're doing. We're knocking down dominoes, all right? And your other issue is when I tell you to come out far, you're not coming out far. You'll stop right here and then go back towards the cone. And now, you know, it's a little more difficult. So you have to make those turns wide. Wide. Go ahead, Mario.
How fast am I going?
You're always going at a speed that's comfortable enough, 8 to 10 miles per hour. Not so slow that you have to worry about the motorcycle falling. But again, you should never be worrying about that as long as there's power to the rear wheel. But you want to give yourself a little bit of both worlds. You want to have power going to the rear wheel and momentum. So if you have a decent amount of speed, good. Now, once you get this smoothly, I'm going to do it again smooth so you see, not dragging the boards, but once you do it smooth, it just looks nice. It feels fluid. And that's where you want to be. But we don't have to worry about that now. We just need you to get comfortable going through this. And your guys are going to see, even if it doesn't happen today, eventually it's going to happen. It's going to happen when you get struck by lightning. That's it. That's what I like to hear.
That's what you had Chris doing Thursday, right?
Yep.
Get back so I get it right, brother.
That's it, brother. That's right. Preload before every movement. Dip it. There we go. Turn, turn, turn. All right, stop. Let me let him go through it. Good, it's coming out wide. Good, good. Gotta lean though, he's going over that line because he's not leaning. But it's his first time through. I'm not expecting anybody to get this the first time through. All right, he missed that one. But it doesn't matter, he just needs to get the feel of it. I know I'm shooting into the sun, I apologize for that. Good, good. All right, all right. He did good. Now see, he's going too fast. Too fast. Start over, start over, start over. All right, he's gonna start it over because right from the start, he's going too fast. Well, maybe he's not gonna start over. But see how far? He's going way over the lines that I told him not to go over. But again, it's the first time through. He's starting that turn way too late. Look, he's almost in the third parking spot. And he doesn't have that problem on this side. He only has it on this side. See, he's over the line on this side, but on this side, he's fine. Why is that? No clue. I mean, way over on the right side. But again, none of that is important right now. See how he's leaning the motorcycle? He's getting the basic fundamentals down. He's doing that first. And after he finishes doing that, now we can work on tightening it up. All right. He didn't hear me. I told him to start over because he was going way too fast when he started. And that's why he went way over the outside line. But that's a goal. I don't care if you guys go over the line and stuff now. This is only the first, second time going through it. Eventually you're going to get it.
So where's considered the outside line? I mean, so I won't cross it.
See this line?
Yeah, like
All the way up. And on that side, all the way up.
I got you.
It's the width of one parking space. So you got 9 feet.
Yes, sir. Shoot. All right. Don't beat yourself up, brother.
I keep grabbing the front brake. Hey,
You should be doing push-ups then. 10 push-ups. I appreciate
hey, tell you nothing now.
I appreciate your candor. All right. Here's Eric. He's turning his head. Very good. Nice, Eric. Good head placement. Very good. Lean that baby. All right, it's going to be a tight one right here. You hear that you hear his throttle is constant. His throttle is constant. And that's what's key. He knows that he has constant power if he needs it. He doesn't have a clutch that he has to worry about. But he has that rear brake and his foot is on it. I see his foot moving up and down, and it has to. He doesn't have a choice because he doesn't have a clutch. Wait. Don't worry about it, man. You're doing good, doing really good actually. And it's not like this guy grew up riding a motorcycle, because he's not a new rider. It's not like he grew up riding a Goldwing. He's accustomed to a clutch, a throttle, and a rear brake. So he's transitioning. He just bought this motorcycle. He's transitioning to a motorcycle without a clutch. And you know, this is a prime example of your brain being the control of everything. The hardest thing to do out here is to fight your instincts, to put your foot down, to not look over your shoulder, all right? And in his case, he's not a new motorcycle rider. However, he has to now, you would think that now he has one less thing to worry about. He doesn't have a clutch. Should be easier, right? No, because now he's fighting habits. He's accustomed to having a clutch. So this is what I mean when I say you have to retrain yourself. And that's what we're doing out here. Once you're retrained, then your confidence level goes up. Boom. Junior's next. It's not, man. But I got news for you. You went out wide at first, and then the rest of it, man, nice and smooth. And again, like I said on camera, it's not like you grew up riding a motorcycle without a clutch. You just bought this motorcycle, so it's a learning curve. It's starting all over almost, but your motorcycle turns really well. Thank you again for giving me a chance to ride it and trusting me with it. It is different, but immediately I started feeling the comfort in that immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep doing it, man. Slow riding skills, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Where you rate yourself at?
6.
All right, he's still a 6. Like I said, it's not just a river in Egypt. Okay, all right.
Hey, let me show him this, man.
Yeah, show me.
See, I do better when I'm challenged. Here we go.
Hold up, if you're a 6, what is Wallace?
Wallace is an 8, clearly.
Okay, I just want you to know Wallace, his answer to that question is he's a 2.
A 2, but no, now this is slow riding, like keeping the bike.
Yeah, he
slow
said he's a 2.
Really, Wallace a 2?
Now I told him there's no way he's a 2.
I'll slow ride you. Okay.
In your opinion, you can.
Hey, come on, now put us on the side to each other. I guarantee you I'll slow ride Wallace.
I don't even know what that means. It sounds a little inappropriate.
Hey, man. Hey, you don't edit. We need to edit my stuff. You don't edit my stuff.
No, listen, everybody knows I don't do a lot of editing. I keep it real. So, all right, man, let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
He's going too fast. Go ahead, Mario. Good, good, good. That's excellent. And the reason I'm saying it's excellent is because the motion is all there. He's swinging out wide. His throttle is up. He's using the rear brake. Let's see if he's turning his head. Nope, we're going to work on that. He's not really turning his head. That's the only thing he was missing. Okay, Willie. I just need you to slow down. Because when you I actually called you back when you first went out. Because you were going way too fast. Now, there's nothing wrong with going a little fast when it's necessary, but it's not necessary here. When you make this first turn, I need you to be, oh, you were in second gear? That's even more impressive. When you make this turn, I need you to be all the way over here so that you don't, that's why you're going so far past those outside lines. Now, I'm not going to pay too much attention to those outside lines. Once you get more accustomed to it, we can start worrying about tightening that up. But ideally, I want you to stay in. Yeah, stay in that between this parking space is 9 feet. And the other way too, right? The way you're going to make that easier is your turns have to be wide. Now, Mario, that was excellent. And when I say excellent, I'm basing it on where we started. Because here's what Mario's doing. He pulls in, as he makes the turn, he's going all the way to the left, and then you can see him turn the handlebars. And then he's going all the way to the right. And he's actually leaning the motorcycle really well. But he's moving slow enough where he can do it nice and easy. If you're moving fast, 2 things. One, it's another thing that's making you feel more comfortable because the faster you go, the less skill you need to give. But also, it's making it so you have to move you have to turn quicker now because you're getting there quicker. Nice and easy. Remember, if you see me make a U-turn and I just keep going, I'm going very slow. You don't have to go fast at all. As long as there's power to that rear wheel, you're fine. Okay, let's try it again. Throttle, throttle. Start over, start over. Good, good. Turn your head. Much better. Turn your head. Good, good. Much better. Much better. Excellent, excellent. See how he's staying within the lines now? Well, he didn't know about it the first time. But leaning the motorcycle is not a problem for Willie. His problem was the throttle. Very good, much better. Practice, practice, practice. That's all this is practice. I want you to look at the sign on the side of his motorcycle. Did he take it off? Where's the sign at? Oh, he put it on the back? All right, and ain't nothing but patience out here. All right, nothing but patience. It's actually a nice cool breeze now. Yeah. I'm hot as hell. If I didn't tell you guys, it's 75 degrees. I'm not rubbing it in to you guys up north. But it's 75 degrees out here. It's beautiful. And it's a little humid, yeah. All right, we're winding down. Another good day. I just want to say bye to everybody. Wish them well on their journey. I'm hoping that Mario's motorcycle is going to get him because, like I said, he's got quite a journey to go on. Sam, how was today, man? Because I noticed you kind of checked out early.
I had to keep my battle buddy warm. Man, look.
It's 75 degrees. You don't have to keep Marshall warm. Matter of fact, last time we were here, her boots were on fire. So she's good. But did you feel okay? Was it okay?
Well, so basically I still got a lot of practice to do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Basically, when I checked out, I was trying to do it on my own.
Yes.
Trying to get the fundamentals that I learned in training.
That's right. And I did see you over there practicing, and that's good. That's what you need to do. All right. The question is, how far are you from here? Okay. The question is, will you be back? Beautiful. Are you on the email list?
I emailed you directly, so I don't know.
Okay. All right, guys. So we're picking up the cones now. Actually, they already picked them all up, so I appreciate that. Another good day. I was actually having some camera issues. You know, I got to go back and, check to see if everything came out the way I wanted it to because for some reason the camera stopped. It kept stop recording. Good thing I brought it back up. But another good day. It is now 3:34. All right. I've been out here since 11 and some guys have been out here since 12. So that's about 3 hours. It's a good amount of time to practice. We got good weather down here. We have to take advantage of it. So we have to practice, practice, practice. All right. Practice, practice, practice. Remember, all we're doing is making right turns and left turns. And I want to share this with you guys too. You guys that are in the cold climates, I want you to practice too. Remember, this is 95% mental. So you have to reprogram the way you think about certain things. Just like Mario. Mario, he kept touching that front brake. That's a habit that you have to break. That's where the push-up thing comes from. All right? So here's how I want you to practice. I was actually doing this in my backyard. I was cutting my grass. I have a 0-turn mower. You know what I was doing? Right before I made every turn, I'm holding the things like this. I was doing this. And then I make the turn. Now, of course, on the 0-turn, you're not doing this. Actually, you are to make a turn. That's exactly what you're doing. So before every turn, I went like this. Looked over my shoulder, turn. Look over my shoulder, turn. And in my brain, I'm saying throttle, 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 throttle. Look, turn, throttle, throttle. Look, turn. I want you to do that. Maybe not on the lawnmower because obviously you're not cutting grass if you can't ride a motorcycle, but mime it, all right? Just mime it as you're walking around. Look, turn, look, turn. And when you turn your head, I don't want you to look gradually. I want you to jerk your head. Don't jerk it to the point where you give yourself whiplash, but I want you to jerk your head. Look, turn. Now, don't do this out in public because I don't want somebody calling the police on you because they think that you've lost your mind, okay? And if you're gonna do it in your home, let your family know what you're doing too, so they don't make a phone call or to start worrying about you and say, oh man, I knew it, all that motorcycle riding, he's running around the house screaming preload, he's losing his mind. So let everybody know what you're doing before you do it so they don't think you're crazy. All right, so mime it. Look, turn, look, turn. All right, just try that out. See how it works. All right, so Mario had some mechanical difficulties. I don't know what was going on with his motorcycle. I'm hoping that it's okay now because he's got about 2.5 hour ride to get back where he came from. Everybody that's local, I want you guys to realize that 2 people that came here today, their ride was over 2 hours. All right, that says a lot about their dedication to mastering this skill. This is a necessary skill. All right, it's a necessary skill. And again, the point of this is I don't ever want you to be out there in the public riding and you have to do something and you're apprehensive about it. I don't want you to be apprehensive. I want you to be confident that you're making right turns and left turns. That's it. Okay, I also want to say to you guys, so now I had a bunch of people make a comment about, dude, you need to get a wireless mic. And I knew I needed to get a wireless mic. I knew it. So I was going to go out and buy it. But my wife hates it when I buy stuff for myself before Christmas because then I just take away gift opportunities for other people. So I said, I'll wait. But all she had to do was find out that one person commented that I needed a mic. Bam. Merry Christmas, honey. Merry Christmas now. Here's the gift. So here I am with my new wireless mic. You guys can still hear me crystal clear. And I got to tell you, I love this. This is a game changer for me. So I don't want you guys to think I wasn't thinking about it because I was thinking about it. I knew I needed it. And now I have it. All right. So, honey, Anita, you know I don't love you just because you bought me this. But I love you because you thought about it so much, because you care so much. You care how people feel about me. Okay? Thank you, sweetheart. And I'm sure a bunch of people out there, thank you as well. Okay, so Michelle, they're going to be late. They got their meeting. So she's leaving. Willie is leaving. He's the sergeant at arms, I just found out.
That's why he riding like that, man.
I'll ask him later what that means. I have no clue.
Yeah, just the man. He the man.
You don't want to get him money.
Yeah.
Willie, did you remember to pay for this course? You remember? Oh yeah, there's no fee, right? That's right. There's no fee. Listen, there's no fee for practicing. That's all we're doing is practicing. There is no fee for this. So guys, you got to come out. Did you pay? All right. Boy got his wallet out. Oh yeah, baby.
What happened was.
That's what it costs. That's what it costs to do this course.
That's what it costs.
Mario, you good?
We're going to try it.
All right, be careful, man.
Yes, sir.
Did you have fun?
I did.
Do you feel good?
I do.
You should because you're better, much better, man.
Thank you, man.
Brandy, I want to thank you. Everybody, this is Brandy. Brandy rides a street glide. All right, and she's going to bring her bike out here at some point and join this practice session. That's correct, right?
After I get my own cones and practice before I come out here with all the
Boy, she's camera shy. She's camera shy, but I told her we're all in the same group. We all look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him. All right, brother. Yeah. Now, don't that sound good? Right? Doesn't it look good? But remember, I told you guys, it looks great. But when it's time to make a U-turn, all right. Eric, good? We're going to see you again? All right, man. You feel better coming in and going out than you did coming in? Okay, good. And that's what it's all about. We got to practice, practice, practice. All right? All right. All right, guys, that's going to end this video. A lot of fun, like I said. Remember, guys, practice, practice, practice. All right? I want to thank everybody that came out here and practiced. It was good stuff. All right? And photo bomb by Wood, and that's all cool. And you know I'm not editing that out. Like I said, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. All right, listen, guys. Spend more time being thankful for what you have and less time complaining about what you don't. Okay? My brothers and sisters in blue, please be careful out there. All right? Everybody on 2 wheels, same thing. All right? Please be careful. Don't get complacent. All right? Much love for you guys, man. All of my subscribers, I appreciate it. I've noticed, you guys know that subscribers is not a big deal to me. That's not what I'm in this about. But I have noticed that there's a lot of people viewing, but the numbers that are viewing versus the numbers that are subscribing are not even close. All right, and to me, that doesn't make sense. You know, if there's something that you see on YouTube and it's beneficial to you, you know, you should be supporting that. And how you support that is by subscribing, liking, and sharing. Okay? So I'm going to say, subscribe, like, and share. I'm also going to say again that email address that you see at the top of the screen, that's primarily for people that are in the area or even not in the area. Like you see, some people rode 2.5 hours to get here. Anytime I'm coming out here to practice, I'm going to send that email out to the group of people that I have their email address that want that. So if you want that, send me your email and just say, add me to the group, and I'll take care of that. Secondly, that email address is also going to be used for, like I said to you guys in the beginning, if you have a picture of you practicing, send me the picture, and every time I put out a video, I'm going to feature that picture. I'm going to say who you are, where you're from, what you're riding, and give you big ups, all right? Give you your props for being out there practicing, because that's what it's all about, okay? The more of us that go out there and practice, the more of us are going to have a higher level of confidence, and a confident rider is a safe rider. Until next time. Son of a bitch. Foot went down because I don't have no clutch. Oh, you could definitely lean it. You could definitely lean it more, I'll tell you that much. And every time I feel like it's gonna fall, I just gotta throttle, there's no clutch. Oh, it's crazy. Do I like it? I'd have to, it's different. I'd have to ride it more to, oh, and it cuts off when you say, I'd have to ride it more to really like it, but I can see how you can, once you get used to that, it's one less thing to worry about, which is the clutch. You just have to be on that rear brake. It's an automatic. So when I went in that U-turn the first time, I went to grab for a clutch. That's why you saw me. I'm like, I'm not dropping his motorcycle, man. And then I was like, oh yeah, just give it throttle. Wow. But in this single serp, oh, it feels good.